Hey everybody. Hey, this is going to be the overview lecture for a station lesson that I put together on Schoology on the rise of the Nazi Party in Germany. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to give you an overview. I've given you a full printout of the PowerPoint that I'm going to go over. It's going to be also available on the station assignment along with this webcast that I'm recording right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go walk you through the material. I'm not going to say everything word for word, but I'm going to kind of summarize it and give you the main ingredients, the main basis you need to go about and examine these stations that I put together on Schoology. We're going to talk about the rise of the Nazi Party in this PowerPoint and overview. Okay, brief overview. In 1928, the Nazi Party was a small, insignificant party, but by 1933, uh, Hitler was chancellor. He was the ruler of Germany. So, how did this obscure party become the main ruling party of Germany? That's what we're going to talk about today. So, a little bit of background about the rise of Hitler. He joined the German Workers' Party in 1919. Started out with 6 members. The party was renamed the National Socialist German Workers' Party, and that acronym's pronounced Nazi in Germany. So, a right wing party. Say that 3 times fast. It hated the Jews, the Treaty of Versailles, communism, and wanted to overthrow the Weimar Republic. Okay. Why were Nazi ideas so popular? Why did they grow in popularity? Well, for one thing, they wanted to abolish the Treaty of Versailles. This appealed to regular Germans because they felt humiliated by the war guilt clause, and they resented the reparations that we talked about that caused all those economic problems in Germany. And then this abolishment of the Treaty of Versailles, this Nazi wish to get rid of this treaty, also appealed to the German military because it meant that they could grow in size. They could actually be more than 100,000 man force that was just the shell of a regular military. They could be a regular military. Another reason why Nazi ideas were so popular is that they wanted to have a strong central government. Germans were unhappy with the Weimar government because it couldn't really solve economic problems. It couldn't be a strong government that could deal with economic problems facing Germany. And right wing Germans liked this because they hated democracy to begin with. They never wanted democracy. They never wanted the Weimar Republic. They liked it under Kaiser Wilhelm. These right wing Germans. And then thirdly, the Nazis wanted what was called a Greater Germany. They first wanted a Lebensraum, or living space, room for the German nation to grow. They Nazis were very clear about this. They said that they wanted to uh, conquer territory in Europe that wasn't Germany at the time of the Treaty of Versailles. They wanted to conquer new territory so that this German nation could grow, that it could expand. This German nation could grow in greatness. Okay. And Nazis also talked about Greater Germany in that they wanted to unite all Germanic peoples. There were pockets of German people that lived outside of Germany. Um, That's why at the bottom here it says, bring all Germans outside of Germany into the Reich. So Austria was German speaking. There were parts of Czechoslovakia that were German speaking. And they wanted to bring those areas into Germany and create this glorified, unified Germany. And they also wanted to unite Germany, this call to take back the land that was lost after World War I, such as the Saar region or the region known as the Rhineland that their military could not go into. All of these reasons appealed and made the Nazis very popular. Okay. Nazi popularity between 1920 to 1923. Hitler's ideas were very popular in this period because Germany was facing a lot of economic problems. Uh, Extreme parties such as the Nazis were very popular. But in 1921, Hitler becomes party chairman, and he sets up this private army of thugs called the SA, or the Stormtroopers. They were also called the Brown Shirts for the shirts they wore, that their uniform was brown. These guys were thugs. They used violence against opponents like communists. They beat up politicians. They were not nice people. They were thugs, and they, like I said, they committed many acts of violence against Nazis' political enemies. And in 1923, the Nazis tried formally, they openly tried to overthrow the Weimar Republics, called the Beer Hall Putsch, and it was unsuccessful. It was terrible. It was a miserable failure, and Hitler was thrown in jail for a period uh, uh, for this unsuccessful attempt against the Weimar Republic. That is where he wrote his famous book, Mein Kampf, from a prison cell after this failed attempt to take over the government. So, however, we move forward. Hitler gets out of prison. In 1918 or 1928, less than 3% of the vote in Reichstag elections went to the Nazis. 5 years later, in 1933, the Nazis were the biggest party in the Reichstag, and Hitler was chancellor. How did this happen? What factors helped the Nazis and Hitler rise to power? Well, for one thing, uh, the Great Depression gave Hitler the opportunity to rise to power. The Great Depression created an atmosphere of fear and desperation. When Wall Street crashed in America, it created a worldwide economic crisis, and it plunged Germany deeper into debt and bankruptcy because it couldn't repay its war reparations. And as a result, unemployment grew to as high as 6 million people in 1913. So the Great Depression helped Hitler rise to power. Why did Germans vote for Nazis? Well, for two reasons. Uh, One, the normal Germans lost faith in the Weimar Republic. They were angry that the government was really not doing its job, and they were looking for someone to blame. The German people were desperate, and they supported these extremist parties and ideas. And Hitler's appeal, um, the appeal of Hitler's ideas to hungry and unemployed Germans was very appealing. Okay, in the Reichstag elections in 1928, Nazis had 12 seats in the Reichstag, and as people became more desperate, their 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 seats in the Reichstag, the German Congress, grew from uh, from 107 in 1930 to 200 in 1932. Okay. And then the Nazis became the largest party in 1932 with 200 seats. The other reason, backtrack here, two reasons why they grew in popularity. One, people were mad at lost faith with the Weimar Republic. The second was the communists. Okay, communism was growing in Germany in 1930, and people were frightened, and they saw that the only the Nazis, the SS, and the SA were able to deal with the threat of communists. So more votes eventually went to the Nazis because people were afraid of communists. Last slide. When Hitler is elected German Chancellor in 1932, uh, at this point, Hitler completely takes over the government once he becomes Chancellor. It is his. It is his country. He dominates everything. He becomes a dictator. This is the last part. This is the last slide. Please now proceed to the link on your in Schoology to station number 1.